I don't even want to have children anyway. Sometimes a sentence shoots into your mind that seemingly has nothing to do with your thoughts. Some say that this is the difference between loud thoughts and voices in your head. For something to be defined as a voice in your head, often it is a voice that the listener does not want to occur, surprises them, and/or does not understand its origins. In this case, the voice shot in my head because the universe was trying to give me subtle signs, but in the end became tired of me not listening. One of these signs was my obsession with the song Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. I would listen to it all the time, spread the lyrics to the song with friends, and make colleagues at work listen to it. I am fully aware that there is a reason I am drawn to songs. There is an energy that I hear and feel, and the meaning will present itself to me at some point. Sometimes it will be right away, sometimes in a few weeks, sometimes after many years, waiting for me to experience the things in life I needed in order to hear the song for the specific reason I was drawn to it. I had been feeling this kind of sadness that I had not felt before. For the first time in a long time, part of the sadness had elements of family within. I could not identify specifically how, as it was ambiguous and confusing at the time. All historic sadness that had explicit elements of family in its nature before now was obvious to me in its connection with my childhood experiences. This time, though, I could not pinpoint its derivation. There was a specific moment which occurred where a simple reason for my sadness could be found, but I knew it was not that. My little brother had just had his first day at university, moving out of the family home. Me and his grandmother / my mother / nan / auntie / foster carer Ina had helped unpack his things for his first day there. I knew that my sadness could be defined as me missing him, not being able to see him as much, or him growing up and flying the nest which I had flew from a decade prior, but I knew this was not the case. That day of him flying was one of the happiest of my life. I was proud and full of love for him and his grandmother. Despite this, the sadness within me began the following day. A week later, during a train journey, came the voice in my head, I don't even want to have children anyway. Now, anybody that has had a conversation with me since I was a teenager knows this sentence makes no sense. Because one of my most repeated sentences is, I've been broody since I was a kid. This voice stunned me because of its integral lie, therefore it forced me to seriously consider why I'd heard it. I knew that it was voicing an extreme binary point of view, so I looked at the opposite, which was the notion of heightened, almost unreasonable broodiness. I had in fact been residing within that notion, and it had recently become unreasonable. My broodiness had rose, and in the last year I had got to the point where every family setup I witnessed would stir this incredible yearning feeling inside of me. Every father and daughter combination, the sight of babies, young siblings, anything that involved fatherhood or family. This rose until it hit a peak and plateaued into a deep sadness, the day Keanu moved to university. The ambiguous family elements to this sadness opened itself up in front of me. In my early 20s, I had the realization that the reason my childhood had not fostered serious attachment issues and destroyed my ability to love was my attachment to Keanu. The unconditional love I had towards him as a baby when he joined the family home was the reason I was able to love as an adult. Without this experience of him, I would not have been able to love. I owe him. Why this is the case is a whole other story. What I learnt from the voice in my head was that when Keanu moved out of the family home, it was symbolic, and then somewhere in my subconscious I was scared that I could no longer love. It was not wrapped up in Keanu becoming an adult. He was already an adult a year prior. It was the symbol of him moving out of the family home which me and him lived. There was a parallel process taking place within my subconscious. The closer Keanu got to moving, the broodier I got year by year. My subconscious was preparing me for Keanu's flight and wanting me to have my own family in preparation so I could continue to have the ability to love. So when this preparation failed and I had no family of my own, I fell in deep sadness thinking I could not love. Luckily, all it took was a realization of what my subconscious was doing all these years to center me. I was still able to love. This then became a new beginning. It became the first year of my life without the subconscious crutch of Keanu being the only reason I have the ability to love another human being. Yes, he was the foundation, but I have that foundation to keep forever and mould into new experiences and knowledge. I was no longer unreasonably broody, so I developed a healthy relationship with the creation of family. My thoughts around fatherhood was no longer wrapped up in a subconscious game of cards. It felt like the first year of my life.